Uh-oh. Well, Yankees, can I offer you one slightly used Jordan Montgomery? We're talking about Montgomery's terrible debut and if it really is a non-issue for the Diamondbacks. We also have answers to your Mailbag Monday questions and so much more. Don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Monti, occasionally known as the mayor of PHNX. And yes, I did survive 48 hours in Las Vegas with one Barry Bloom. I am joined, of course, on the ones and twos by my producer and my guy, large intimate Kevin Thomas. What up, KT?
What up, what up?
Oh, man, it was a fun weekend in Vegas. I didn't have the same weekend Damon Dog did. I was not there for a bachelor party. However, getting wild with that Savage Berry might as well be a bachelor party. But, of course, we have some things to talk about before we get to that. And we also have a big topic today when it comes to Jordan Montgomery's terrible debut in Goodyear and how the Diamondbacks feel in regards to it. The Diamondbacks did lose today to the Dodgers. And the only real takeaway I have is, really? A bullpen game during spring when you have 7 starting pitchers? I don't know about that. Also, you have Blake Walston and Tommy Henry in the mix, so 9 starting pitchers. The Diamondbacks did make some roster cuts, of course, and that happened on the other side of this big weekend. But back to today's game, Gabby Moreno went yard. He was 2 for 3 with a home run. He also scored 2 runs. But again, Diamondbacks lose to the Dodgers, unfortunately. Results don't really matter, but it matters kind of when it's the Dodgers. Am I right, Kevin? I mean,
it always matters when it's the Dodgers there.
It always matters when it's the Dodgers. Corbin Carroll was 0 for 3 today. He's coming back from an injury. He actually had a pretty nice day on Saturday here back in Arizona. But, yeah, Gabby was pretty much the standout from today. Not too much offense from this team. And, I mean, honestly, with the way this weekend has gone and how many games the Diamondbacks have over the course of this weekend, it's pretty difficult for them to kind of not only, balance out all of these games that they had to play in a very short amount of time, but have enough bodies to then play the games after this weekend happened, of course. And I know that one of the reasons why the Diamondbacks waited to make their roster cuts was until after this big league weekend happening there in Vegas at the Las Vegas Ballpark. But it was still a very, a very unfortunate situation for the Diamondbacks to be in. It caused them to be pretty short when it comes to, their staff overall. And so, we got some split squad games this weekend. But this weekend was important for Torey and the team to get a chance to go out on this road trip. I do love the fact that as a manager, he embraced this, as kind of a fun thing. Like, you don't really get to do many road trips during the season that are fun, right? Like they do have their opportunities to go out and do things when they're in the different cities, but it's kind of business during the regular season. This is kind of a consequence-free weekend in Vegas, although it's never a consequence-free weekend in Vegas, let's be honest. But it gave an opportunity mostly to the minor leaguers to get a chance to ride on the team plane, experience what it's like to be a real big leaguer and go on a road trip like this. And it was important to Torey, and more important, it was important to the young guys. This is what Torey had to say in regards to why this is such a big deal for those young guys to get this opportunity.
Yeah, I love it. I knew that we would I had to bring a certain number of players from our team, who they are, and then the understudies, a couple of them. But probably 4 or 5 guys on this team have been in that environment and traveled on that plane before. So that is our plane. It's got first class amenities, and I went back there to say hello to a couple of the guys, and they were wide-eyed and just taking it all in. And you have snacks available to you. You just have a really good travel environment that they've probably never seen before. I know when I walk on that plane, it's something that's different. I sit in the same seat. I have a bag of potato chips waiting for me. So I just will never take that for granted, and I don't want the guys to either. But it's been fun for me to bring this group here. I'm excited to go out right now and meet a few of the guys for the first time. I've been watching them on backfields, but we're here together. We're a team. We're going to have a good time.
What do you think about this whole Vegas thing?
There's that Barry there in the background. No, I mean, Torey, there's a couple of things I take away from that. First of all, potato chips, that's your snack of choice on an airplane. That's an
simple
interesting
snack for a simple man, Derek.
He's a simple man. He's not complicated. He went out this weekend and he watched Maroon 5 in Las Vegas, and he also got to see Garth Brooks. So Torey tore up Las Vegas. He had himself a time there. He did tell us candidly that he was disappointed that he let his wife win the battle about which shows they went to see, because he wanted to go see the Eagles at the Sphere. So I might be giving
the Sphere. Yeah. See the venue.
Okay. Again, this is what makes Barry super cool, is because Barry's been to the Sphere now for 4 concerts: the Grateful Dead twice, the Eagles,
the Who,
the Eagles.
No, I'm saying the Who.
Oh, Who.
No, because I was saying the Who, I think, also performed at the Sphere, so I was guessing.
Oh.
I know who the Eagles are. Don't worry.
This is going to be an Abbott and Costello bit really fast. What I didn't know is he said they had something like 118,000 speakers in the Sphere. And even though the visuals are incredible, that kind of makes me want to go there. But Barry did behave himself. I did drag him out to Fremont Street. He did not party with me, and he refused to get whipped by the nice ladies on Fremont Street, no matter how much I paid for it. But again, going back to Torey on the plane, it's an important thing, right? I mean, again, it's a small thing. We've talked about it at times on the show, how difficult it is to be a minor leaguer, right? It's not an easy path to the big leagues. It's one of the reasons why I, as a person that both covers baseball and loves baseball as a fan, am concerned about the future of the sport, right? The path to getting to the big leagues seems to be a bit too difficult, with too many, hurdles, especially for the majority of the guys to get through with far too little pay in order to kind of get the best athletes in the world to want to play baseball, right? And that's what it's about at times, is getting stars that can play multiple sports potentially to choose baseball over other paths in life. And again, there's times where I know how hard it is to be a minor leaguer. However, this is just a small taste, and this is one of those things that can be very motivating to these guys, especially some of these guys that are so close to potentially being on this roster, maybe a year away, maybe 2 years away. When the starting rotation turns over next year, there's going to be a good opportunity for guys like Gilbert Diaz and some of these other pitchers, Yumin Lin, to get a chance at this roster. So I feel like it's cool. It's cool to get this chance as a young kid, but it's also cool motivation for Torey to let them say, look, this is the sweet life. This is what all of the hard work you're putting in as a minor leaguer, this is what you're doing to get to. So, but I will say that a couple of things surprised me that I've learned on this trip. First of all, the Las Vegas Aviators, the Las Vegas Ballpark, has a pool, and nobody told me that they had a pool. This is new information to me. It's a small pool, but it's a pool nonetheless. It doesn't have cannons that shoot off water, even though ours don't work anymore. But it does very much have a pool, and I thought that was neat. Another thing that I find to be fascinating is one young Jake McCarthy did tell me that this was his first ever trip to Las Vegas, which is mind-boggling considering the man played his minor league career in Reno, Nevada. It's not very far away. Apparently, also, every time they played the Aviators, he was called up to the big leagues. So, hey, good on you, Jake. Somehow you figured out a way to avoid Sin City. But we did not. We had a great time there. Again, that Las Vegas ballpark is gorgeous. It's really cool. One of the things I found that I loved the most about it was all of the standing room only space and all of the ways that they like tried to put seating and stuff for standing room only, So again, sometimes you want to stand the whole game, but it's a 3-hour baseball game. You need to take a load off from time to time. There were plenty of places to relax. In being at a small ballpark like that, like it's a newer ballpark, it's a lot nicer than a lot of even the, spring training facilities we have here. It's a little confounding, right? Like I know that it's based on the fact the Aviators do still need to play baseball there while the regular season goes on, but with the Oakland A's entire situation, and having to spend time in Sacramento and everything that they're going through, man, I mean, it would have been nice for them to find a way to use that ballpark, now until their big league ballpark is built, which apparently is going to be not too long from now. All of the things are in motion. That's one thing I learned in Las Vegas for the Oakland A's to indeed move to Las Vegas. You might hear reporting about the contrary, but it feels like for the most part, the people that are being hired are people from Las Vegas to be part of the A's organization and everything right now. They're having a groundbreaking here soon for the new stadium. They've completely flattened that area. We visited it where the Tropicana used to be. So not only is the Tropicana completely gone, but they have just leveled it for this, construction project. So they will have baseball in Las Vegas, and not in the too distant future. But Diamondbacks split the series in Oakland, or with Oakland in Las Vegas there. They lose the first game 4-2. They win the second game 7-5. A couple of standouts for younger guys, especially there in Vegas, was Ryan Waldschmidt, the Diamondbacks' first overall draft pick. He just looks outstanding, man. And we're calling him Waldy. That's it, right? Like Waldschmidt. He's got to be like Waldschmidt happens is going to happen, and we're going to be Waldy. You don't like Waldy?
I love Waldy. What about like Waldo? Waldo is right there.
Waldo is very good, but
right
Waldy
there.
is just a little nod to Goldie, and that's all. That's all we were going for, right? But that's fine. Okay. I like Waldo. Waldo's good. When we said Waldy to Torey, he said, "Where's Waldo?" So Torey and you are already on the same path. But Michael in the comment, by the way, hello chat. I've not acknowledged you. I've not talked to you. It's so great to see you guys. Yes, Ryan, that's probably an accurate name for him. Michael Dixon says, poor Oakland. I couldn't help but think that. That's one thing before I get into who impressed with the Diamondbacks youngsters here. I couldn't help but think that walking around the ballpark. There were so many people there in like throwback Oakland's gear, and so many people there that were talking about how they traveled there for this game. It's heartbreaking. What is happening to Oakland is heartbreaking. All of their teams leaving, this entire situation, again, especially with this A's team that has so much history in Major League Baseball. I think that's what, like, the fan support for this team out there in Las Vegas was great, and it really kind of, just made me think of all of those A's fans back in Oakland that are having their team taken away from them. It's not great. You know what I mean? It's definitely not great, but on the other hand, the sentiment from people in Las Vegas is they're already annoyed with where you're going to park and how you're going to go to the ballpark. It sounds like parking for the new ballpark when it's built is going to be atrocious, and the general expectation from the team or from people in general is that you're going to take some sort of mass transit, lift, something to get there, rather than expecting to drive your car there and park. And that's insane to me, Kevin. That's insane to me, because if you've ever been to Las Vegas, you know that they have so much space if it's not on the Strip. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why you want it to be on the Strip, but it didn't need to be on the Strip. There's so much space.
Yeah, no, and honestly, Derek, like you said, outside the Strip, it's just Strip and then just space.
I mean, it's a lot like Arizona. It's a lot like Phoenix when you go there, right? Like, it's the some of the ways that it's laid out, some of the, convenience or strip malls and stuff. Like, it's very reminiscent of Southern California and Phoenix and stuff, but it's expansive. It's in some areas, and I'm sure I'm sure it's all owned, and I'm sure that like I'm making it easier than it appears to be, but it just feels like the Strip is already a place that I try to stay away from as much as possible when I'm in Las Vegas. And people might think that's crazy, but
I kind of think that's crazy.
I know, but
you go to Vegas for that exact one reason.
Here's what I will say about Las Vegas is when you go on the Strip, I don't really find that going from hotel to hotel or casino to casino is really that different. And that's the reason why is like, I like some diversity. And I like when my friend Tim comes and picks me up and takes me to his favorite pizza place where I got a pizza that was stuffed with a chicken Parmesan.
All right, well, wait, real quick. That kind of, because you're getting to it. I was going to ask you what your favorite bite you had in Vegas was, because I think the chat would love to know. So can you describe what you showed me earlier?
What I showed you was a Detroit-style pizza with the crispy edges like a deep dish, and also a chicken Parmesan stuffed in the middle of it. How did they make this? What magic is this? I don't know, but I just know I loved it, and I loved everything we did. We went to a barcade. We did other stuff. We spent time on Fremont Street. I drug that maniac Barry out to Fremont Street, and one Jack Summers bought me a 32-ounce Jack and Coke. When I asked for a Jack and Coke, I didn't know it was going to be in basically, I don't know. I want to say Thirst Buster, but that's an outdated, in a Polar Pop cup is what I should say, right? That's in a Polar Pop. Like, I wasn't expecting a 32-ounce Polar Pop filled with Jack and Coke, but that's what you get when you're on Fremont Street. But the Diamondbacks, again, they went out, they did their thing. Had a fun time in Las Vegas, heard a lot of the stories, so that was very cool. Again, getting back to who impressed, Ryan Waldschmidt had a home run, had a lot of power, just a great kid. Like, I don't know, something about him that when you speak to him and you see him play baseball, you feel like he is going to be a big leaguer sooner than later, and that's exciting. Another name, I don't know if he's as much of a prospect really, but he hasn't really gotten his way to break into the majors yet, is Juan Murillo. He was one of the Diamondbacks relievers. That man was throwing 100 miles per hour gas casually on Sunday, and I loved that about him. Again, a very exciting name, one I wasn't super familiar with, apparently. Missed some time due to injury. Jeff Brigham, another guy that looked really good out there on the mound. And then Jordan Chalice, another young guy. So, again, a lot of talent out there. I think when you start seeing some of what the Diamondbacks have set up for the future is very encouraging, especially when you look at what the Reno Aces roster is going to look like, especially when you look at their starting rotation. The Aces have a good chance that they are going to have a roster consisting of pretty much 5-man rotation that are all have major league experience, right? There's a good chance that somebody from the Diamondbacks, major league starting rotation does get sent down. So you could have that person. It could be a Brandon Pfaadt. It could be a Ryan Nelson. Then you also have Blake Walston starting down there. You'll have Tommy Henry. You'll have Yuman Lin. You'll have Gilbert Diaz. So there's going to be a lot of talent. And I think, again, if the Diamondbacks can be patient with this situation, they have a good pipeline, ready to come up to the majors, and hopefully those guys can find success and fill some of those holes the Diamondbacks are going to have next season and beyond in their starting rotation. But meanwhile, back in Arizona, Corbin Burnes remains incredibly good at throwing a baseball. Lo and behold, it's amazing. Burnes' line from Sunday, he went 4 innings, gave up 2 hits, 0 runs allowed. He walked 1 and struck out 5. Pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Derek.
I think this Corbin Burnes kid is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think the kids are going to be all right.
That's my best analysis in regards to Corbin Burnes. Holy crap, guys. We might actually have a true ace. And no disrespect to Zach Gallen at all. However, I don't think that while Zach Gallen has been amazing and consistent and very good at going out there and giving you, a chance to win a baseball game every single night he pitches, I still don't think that we've ever had, not ever had, because remember there's this one Randy Johnson guy and another guy, Kurt Schilling, that I don't really want to acknowledge as much, but does deserve his flowers for how good he was at throwing a baseball. However, Corbin Burnes feels like he is in that elite class of pitchers. And as Elise said, Elise, thank you again for bringing Corbin Burnes to this team, has been very, very good at baseball. Elise, have you gotten any new tattoos, by the way? Just curious. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. Edward Distler says we're going to have the best AAA starting rotation. We are. It's going to be really good. And again, there's a positive impact on the major league club in regards to that. However, don't forget that it's very difficult to actually pitch in Reno. But I know, as always, I will preface this with it's spring and it's too early. But Burnes is the ace of this team, and I just can't tell you how exciting it is with this future. We got
Derek,
a crazy super chat.
The Dbacks are so back. Because Be Calm, See Clearly is here with a super
clearly
chat.
is here with a super chat.
Bang.
We've never been more back, Kevin.
Bang.
Do I have to read it, right?
Unless you want me to read it, I'll read it.
You read it.
I had a baby with Geraldo Perdomo and King Burns.
Okay, I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to keep that. That's good. Especially without context, I might just keep the audio on that and send it to people via text message. But
That's a psychotic thing to do.
It really is.
I'll just clip this and put it out there for perpetuity.
You know me. You've already seen I can't be trusted.
Sean wants you to read it, Derek. Sean says read the super chat, Derek.
No, it's too late, Sean. We've already read that one. We have to move on.
We did not read that one, Derek.
We as a team read it. But speaking... again, there of Gilbert Diaz. He was part of the roster cuts today, optioned to AAA Reno, along with Christian Mena and Tim Tawa. And then a bunch of guys were also reassigned to minor league camp. So the Diamondbacks are starting to make some of those roster cuts, starting to trim things a little bit when it comes to, camp and who is still going to be competing for a spot. They're going to have some difficult decisions to make. They definitely are. And I mean, obviously, as we all know, the most difficult decision they have is their starting rotation. I know that the thing that's the most intriguing is who is going to be the closer, but that's, the Diamondbacks have guys for that. And you kind of know who's in that competition. And realistically, whoever isn't the closer is going to still be a very valuable weapon for Torey Lovullo in the bullpen going forward. So it's much different than what's happening with the starting rotation. But we are going to talk about Jordan Montgomery's atrocious debut here on the other side of this break. Don't you guys go anywhere. You are watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at All Pro Shades Concepts, and I cannot thank them enough, not only, as I've said before, for their wonderful commercials, but for helping us extend our outdoor living spaces with their wonderful awnings. They have custom fit awnings. They also have shades. They're all motorized. They also have roll down shades. They have manual things as well. And they can help you out. They can replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings. But more importantly, they can help you spend some more time outside. It got hot fast here. Can't believe how quickly that happened, Kevin. I'm kind of upset about it when I was getting in my car this afternoon. I like being outside. I like the wonderful weather. But again, it's much better in the shade. And All Pro Shade Concepts can help you do that. They are licensed, bonded, and insured. So call them at 623-204-1476 or visit them at allproshadesconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. And as always, we thank them so much for sponsoring the show. Get over there, get yourself some shades, and again, spend more time outside. Get some sun on your skin, but not too much. Enough, through the shades. Also, speaking of a local company, we love our friends over at Branded Bills. I'm still thinking about our wonderful tour that we had where I got to make my own hat. I'm a hat guy. You have no idea how much making my own hat means to me, but you can elevate your brand with Branded Bills, the perfect headwear and apparel company. A great part of that tour was seeing all of the wonderful companies and logos that they've helped design for the different hats. And that's something that they can do for you. They can help your brand stand apart from the crowd with custom fit headwear. You can start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They have partnerships with ASU, U of A, and more as part of their campus collection. And again, they're a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. So head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. They got Suns hats, they got Arizona hats, they got some great hats over there, and also some other great headwear, beanies, shirts, everything you need over there at brandedbills.com. Well, it's unfortunate.
Bang!
I don't really want to talk about it. We're back more than ever, but we're back to not reading Be Calm, See Clearly super chats because it's going to put me in an awkward position next time I have to go into the clubhouse. What are we doing, BCSC? Well, we do have something also a little awkward to talk about, and that is Jordan Montgomery's debut. I don't think that this could have gone any worse than it did. He debuted, for those of you that may not know, for those of you that were enjoying your weekend, here, let me ruin it for you because you might have missed this. Jordan Montgomery debuted and it was a disaster. It started off, I believe, with him hitting the first batter faced after a few pitches. Then he allowed a 2-run home run. Then he walked the next 2 batters, I believe recorded 1 single out. Then he gave up a single that allowed a run to score. And at that point, he was pulled from the game. And I believe another hit scored 2 more runners. In total, Jordan Montgomery went a third of an inning pitched, gave up 2 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, struck out none, hit a batter, and gave up 1 home run. Now, there are a lot of things that are very, very bad about this outing. But I think the worst part about this outing is Jordan Montgomery's velocity. And we really didn't get a question or an answer, per se, on if Jordan was actually pitching, throwing an 89-mile-per-hour fastball when he was facing live hitting or throwing in his bullpen, right? Because you feel like if he was, that there might have been some concern there. However, we did talk to Torey Lovullo in Oakland the day, or not Oakland. See, I'm getting this confused because we played the A's, and I also drank a lot of alcohol, so it's easy for me to forget what city we were in. But it was Las Vegas. I should remember that. And this is what Torey had to say in regards to how they feel about Jordan Montgomery's outing.
Yes, I am aware of what happened with Monty, and I know what the numbers are. I had a conversation with Cap this morning, and, you know, and I'll see it through his eyes, and I'm going to echo the same feeling. That's what I would have told you guys, even if I had not talked to anybody. The first time you get on the mound, the first time you get in the box, first time you get on the field, there's some uniqueness to that feeling. You're just trying to check the box that I'm out here, and I'm throwing the ball downhill, and I'm trying to find my spot. So was the timing perfect? No. Was the response and the reaction to everything he was doing perfect at home plate? No. But Cap felt very strongly that it's a non-issue, and it's going to get timed up, and the next outing is going to be much better. So it's putting the ball on the plate. We all know what that means. But just to get Monty, and from my standpoint, just to get Monty out there on the mound, dirt on the spikes, and competing was the most important thing for me. He checked that box.
Now, Jordan Montgomery is behind the rest of the starting pitchers because of a finger injury that he experienced. It was, I believe, a ligament, as Torey said, in his finger. He's no longer experiencing that injury. However, he, again, is behind. This is his first time facing, an opponent. I will say that spring training is spring training. I will say that one thing that people fail to remember about Jordan Montgomery is that when he made his first 2 starts for this team in the regular season last year, he actually kind of shoved. So I don't want to overreact to this. However, with that being said, as you may know, I have been pitching to all MLB teams if they were interested in one pre-owned, open box, slightly dinged, pre-loved. We were doing pre-loved.
I was going to say, if you didn't, pre-loved.
Yeah, pre-loved Jordan Montgomery, right? And as far as, the Diamondbacks are concerned, as far as this is the worst possible outcome, right? The one thing that you want is for Jordan Montgomery to look great in spring training. Now, overall, if the intention is to still keep him as part of their starting rotation, it's fine to be patient with him, right? He's going to come back around. This is, as Torey said, no reason to, have a tremendous amount of concern. However, if Jordan Montgomery continues to go out there and pitch like this, then the option of trading him is completely out the window. And that might already be the case for Mike Hazen, should he not want to actually give Jordan away for nothing. It feels like at the end of the day, it's the return on Jordan Montgomery is going to be very small unless teams get desperate. And I don't know if you heard, but Garrett Cole is having season-ending Tommy John surgery. You have Luis Gil, who is going to miss a considerable amount of time. You are seeing pitchers and players around Major League Baseball already experiencing injuries that are going to keep them out for a considerable amount of time. Again, my friend Tim is a Mets fan, so I had to hear about this entirely too much from him and his starting rotation. I don't even want to tell you about their situation. As a Diamondbacks fan, you should be very thankful that the Diamondbacks are in a position right now of power, if you will, right? Like, they have 7 starting pitchers, 7 good Major League Baseball starting pitchers that range from excellent to very good. And then there's also Jordan Montgomery. He is the odd man out. He is the guy that everybody knows based on his past how good he can be, but we just don't know if he can get back there. It's kind of baffling. It just seems like it's inevitable that he will be the pitcher that he once was. This is baseball, though. Sometimes baseball can't get sometimes this is what happens. You lose your ability to be effective at a major league level, and you aren't that caliber of pitcher any longer. We were talking about this on our very long road trip. You don't really see starting pitchers have the length that they used to have when they're great. Justin Verlander is kind of a dinosaur, where he's out here and he's actually still very good, still pitching at an elite level right now, surprisingly. And, again, those guys are few and far between. It doesn't feel like you have pitchers that are great their entire career any longer the same way like they once were. But I don't know. I've given my opinion on this. I've talked about Montgomery, of course, making us sad no matter what, it feels like. Like, I feel like if we keep him on the team, he is going to be a disappointment. And unfortunately, it's going to feel like the entire contract was a disappointment. And then if we trade him, he's going to somehow miraculously be amazing wherever he goes. And it's going to make me kick this table every time. I'll just kick this table one time every time I come into the studio, a little bit, but every time, because I'll just think about the fact of, why couldn't you do this at any point during your time as a Diamondback? It would be definitely, I think, unfortunate for Jordan to be traded, considering that one thing that he talked about a bit last year was the stability. And this is his chance at having stability by staying on this Diamondbacks team and becoming a part of the starting rotation. At the end of the day, based on contracts, based on options, based on, this situation, the Diamondbacks really, the best possible scenario for the team is that Jordan Montgomery is on the starting rotation and is what he once was. And if that's the case, the Diamondbacks could have a potential number 1, number 2 starter as their number 5 starter in their rotation. But he has to get back there. I am cautiously optimistic for some reason that he will. I don't know why. I don't have an answer for you why I'm cautiously optimistic. It's odd to hear, that it's a non-issue for the team, but I get it. It really is a non-issue, at least for now. We'll see how it progresses. We'll see what happens in his next start. Even this start was kind of messed, right? Like, he was supposed to start on Friday, but then it got rained out. It's the B game all over for Jordan Montgomery, which, if you remember, that's when things really went downhill for him. So I don't know. What do we got here? I got, hate the Yankees, but never want to see that from Sean. Yeah, I think that's the case. However, you got to be a little cutthroat, I guess, if you're the Diamondbacks in this situation. And when I say that, I mean, the Diamondbacks have a surplus of talent. It's almost a problem for them, right? And they still have couple of areas where they would like to increase their depth and be better, right? So the idea here is that as teams continue to lose players and need starting pitching, it would be great to at least have that option of some team being unnecessarily desperate and negotiating with the Diamondbacks in a way where they can kind of fleece someone. Mike Hazen has done that in the past, and he is kind of a pro at fleecing other Major League Baseball teams, right? That could be a way to, once again, get out of this contract and have it at least have some worth, right? The only other way is for Jordan Montgomery to stay part of the roster and to come out here and pitch his ass off for this team and be good. So, but Sean says, I'm all in for them taking Monty back. I don't know if they're all in for them taking Monty back, but I can be persuasive. Remember, I am still here offering any Major League Baseball team one pre-owned Jordan Montgomery. So hopefully he can bounce back. Corbin Carroll is back. Again, he didn't have himself a great day today, but it's still great to see him come back. Torey mentioned, like part of the road trip there to Goodyear was to just have him sit on a bus and, have that lower back kind of see if it tightens up on him anymore, see if anything else happens. It sounds like that all is good with him. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. also back from injury. So great things happening for this Diamondbacks team. Health is a big factor right now across Major League Baseball. You're seeing the impact it can have on some of these teams. So that's very important. Again, that's the reason why the Diamondbacks are set up for success this year is the depth. Now it's a matter of figuring out a way to put all the pieces, put everybody somewhere, at least for now, where you can have that depth available should an emergency happen for you. Again, I can't stress it enough. You don't get through a Major League Baseball season with just 5 starting pitchers. So it's tantalizing, though. I'm sure there's going to be a phone call or two. I'm sure there's going to be an offer or two from a team. And it might not even be for Jordan Montgomery. That might, make it a little too hard to pass up. But as we get closer and closer to opening day, I don't know. I don't know if I see a trade happening. And in order for that trade to happen for Montgomery, he's got to come out and pitch better than he did in his debut. I also think that, again, the Diamondbacks have a lot of tough decisions to make about their roster in several different ways. And again, that closer role is probably going to come down to the wire. It feels like, again, Justin Martinez has thought he was like giving himself a little bit of a edge there, but he had himself not a great outing the other day. I think Dre Jameson kind of struggled a little bit today, giving up a run and a couple of hits. So it's a competition for a reason, and it's not always the results. That's one thing I talked to Torey about a few times. I mean, one of the things that him and I discussed were, when do you start to actually, change your point of view as a manager from like just looking at what they're doing, like what he was talking about there with Jordan Montgomery, to the results actually being a factor. And, again, it sounds like right now they're not there, but that changes very fast. And there is not a lot of time left. We are, I believe, 17 days away from opening day against the Chicago Cubs. So the Diamondbacks do have to, only have so many starts for those guys, right? Jordan Montgomery is probably only going to get 2 or 3 more outings in that time frame. So again, not a lot of chance, not a lot of time to get back on track and then make a decision in regards to that battle there for starting rotation and for the closer spot. But you guys know what day it is, even though I'm exhausted, and even though I spent entirely too much time listening to 2 colleagues of mine bicker in a car. I am ready to get to the mailbag, and we are going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you guys go anywhere. Well, I definitely needed Pure Edibles this weekend. Bless them for all of the wonderful effects that their kicks offer. I love me some Starbursts, and kicks from our friends at Pure Edibles are exactly like Starbursts, but obviously quite a bit better. Pure Edibles was founded right here in Arizona. They were made in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary. Now they are made right here in Phoenix. They are designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. They are a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, those kicks I was talking about, chews, hard candies, and of course, obviously, a little extra added effect. Those effects are clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what effects to expect. Go find yourself some. Pure Edibles products right now are available in one of 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And of course, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Go download the Bet365 app, use our code of PHNX365 to sign up and make watching live sports more fun. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they do offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. They will make watching Suns games more fun, let me tell you. Now, the Suns have been playing from behind, but again, remember, just because they lose doesn't mean you need to lose. So one thing you can do is you can get in on an early payout offer on NBA with the Bet365 early payout offer. You're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout or straight bets. That's also marked as a winner on straight bets and parlay selections. And I'll tell you, again, if you bet against the Suns, maybe you get that payout and then you see an amazing comeback in the fourth quarter and they also win the game. So you can have your cake and eat it too there. Check out Bet365 right now. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 and bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment. Again, never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And before we get to the mailbag, of course, we got to give a shout out to our friends sponsoring the mailbag over at Waymo. Waymo, of course, is the autonomous ride-hailing service. They have a fleet of all-electric Jaguar I-Pace vehicles, and they have made 150,000 trips per week across San Francisco, Los Angeles, and right here in the Phoenix metro area. They were the first company to serve a fully autonomous ride with no humans behind the wheel back in 2015. And they have logged over 40 million miles of real-world driving experience. So go download the Waymo app, Waymo One app, and ride today. Get yourself a solo ride, and then you can choose your own music. Again, I was stuck in a car playing DJ on my way back from Las Vegas. I knew my audience, so again, a lot of Eagles, a lot of Allman Brothers, a lot of Beatles being played because I wanted. Once again, to do what I do for the people. It's why I got the whole mayor nickname, right? It's the thing. But another thing I do for the people is what we do here every Monday on this show, Kevin. God damn it. Rain or shine. Doesn't matter. We don't get rained out on Mondays around here because every year on this show is our year. Every year on this show is the year of the snake. Every month on this show is Women's History Month. Every month. Every week on this show is Shark Week. Every day on this show, in honor of Jesse, is Passover. But on Mondays, we go to the mailbag. Kevin, let's go to the mailbag.
Mailbox. Always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox. And then once in a while, there's a letter that makes me go, wow, wow, my mailbox.
All right, let's go. What do we got here?
Our first mailbag question of the day comes to us from Travis Moore, who wants to know, who are you most excited to see play at the spring breakout game? I really want to see more from Tommy Troy. A good showing in the AFL back in October was great, but he needs to keep going off of that. 12th overall pick, Stanford pedigree. There's a lot of expectation on him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a couple of guys that we've already had a chance to see in the spring breakout game, and it's some of the names I've already brought up. I know pitchers-wise, there's a couple of guys. Again, I brought up Jordan Chalice. I believe he is going to be in that spring breakout game. He is an exciting young guy. Spencer Giestling, another young pitcher that I've seen quite a bit of so far this spring and is very exciting. And I'm with you there. I like Tommy Troy for sure. And again, talking about other guys I brought up earlier, Ryan Waldschmidt, another guy on the roster that's very exciting. Slade Caldwell, a couple of the top prospects are going to be there. Slade Caldwell, I think Drew Jones is going to be there as well. One guy, especially for everybody to keep their eye on, is Demetrio Crisantes. He is the Diamondbacks' #2 overall prospect as ranked by the Pipeline guys over there. He's an exciting young player. He is a great hitter, and he is going to be a name, I think, very soon. People will see kind of make, I guess, more often, right? He kind of came out of nowhere. That's one exciting thing sometimes about prospects is they can make a name for themselves pretty quickly, especially when, you kind of stand out. It's a reason why this is important too. Spring training, games like this, split squad games, getting a little bit of Torey's attention here in Las Vegas as a youngster. It's all important, man. I mean, Torey doesn't make the roster decisions, but he does have input on it. And Mike Hazen was also in Las Vegas. So it's another opportunity for these young guys to just impress the people that make the decisions for this organization and get themselves an opportunity. The spring breakout game, though, this is going to be another great opportunity for these guys as well. So, yeah, I'm excited to see so many of those guys. It's on March 14th, and that will be at 5:10 p.m. at Salt River Field. So, again, get a chance to go out there, see some of the talented youngsters. This is what's going to happen during spring training games, though, anyway. And it's one of the things that sometimes people complain about. I actually had a few fans discussing the cost of spring training games in Arizona being very similar to this spring breakout series, which the general sentiment was overall it was too expensive for either. But fans seemed more okay with, spending the money on this big league weekend in Las Vegas more than they feel okay with spending on like a normal spring training game. So I don't know, but all I say is Major League Baseball right now doesn't seem to have too much of a problem when I'm looking at, how full Salt River Fields is on a Monday, for instance, with fans. So again, until people stop showing up and stop buying buying a ticket. They're going to keep charging what they're charging for those games. My apologies to a lot of people who miss the old days of tickets being $5 or $10. Baxter is in the chat. That's got to be my guy Baxter, right? The Bobcat, right? I'm just going to pretend like it is. Baxter, I miss you. I'll see you soon. What else we got in the bag, Kev?
Next up, from Fleaball.
Fleaball.
Who's going to be the first D-back to tap his head during an at-bat on a call they don't like, just to mess with the ump? Ketel's probably the fave, but Erod has to be the dark horse, right?
Yeah, no, Erod's a fave. Ketel's definitely a fave. I feel like it's going to be maybe unintentional, maybe intentional, but it's going to be Gabby Moreno. Like, I feel like he's going to do it too much during spring that it's just going to be a reflex for him. He's going to just immediately see a call that he disagrees with and just go to the head. By the way, I saw one of the Oakland A's pitchers initiate the ABS system during this series, and it was one of the more egregious challenges, because I was very far away and I could see with my naked eye that this ball did not land in the strike zone, and it didn't, and it was proved by the giant screen that measures how far the ball is outside the strike zone. The point of this story is stop letting pitchers initiate the challenge. Pitchers should not be allowed to initiate the challenge. I think that is an important part. That is my take on the ABS system. I think that pitchers should be abolished from being allowed to be a part of it. They are a pitcher. They threw the ball. They're always going to think that they landed in the strike zone, right? I mean, and sometimes they're right, but most of the time they're wrong, and I'm not buying into it, so I'm not going to let it happen. All right, what else we got, Kev?
Next up, Eddie Waters. Has Monty been traded to the Yankees yet?
I don't know. I keep refreshing. It's F5, right? I keep hoping that there's breaking news. No, he hasn't, and he's not going to be anytime soon. Right now, again, Monty's value is fairly low, and it's after that debut, it probably couldn't be any lower. There's still, no need to panic within the organization. There's no need to panic for Jordan. The reports back here were that even he was saying he was kind of rushing things. He was just overly kind of amped up for being out there against an actual, baseball team, an actual opposing baseball team. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to calm down. The pitcher that he has been in the past is still inside of Jordan Montgomery. And I still feel that, right? Like, we've seen it at times on this team. And if you go back and look at his game log from last season, it was very bad, but there were some, moments that still reminded you of his, value and what he can do. So if he can get back to that consistency, if he can get back to that level of play, the smartest thing might be just to keep Jordan Montgomery, but this is a walk year for a lot of guys, including Jordan. So I think it's just as valuable to him personally that he performs well as it is to the organization. Everybody has a stake in this. Everybody wants to see Jordan succeed. I think we all want to see that, right? But again, there is the fact that the Diamondbacks have this crowded house that they have, and what we've seen in the past is no matter how much they're paying a guy, they haven't shied away from continuing to put up the best guys on the field versus putting a guy out there just because he has a big contract, right? So Jordan does have to perform in order for him to be a part of the starting rotation, and he knows that. He also has to perform so that he gets that contract that he feels he deserves that he never has really received. So we'll see what happens after this year. And I say that this man just got paid a whole lot of money by the Diamondbacks, so I'm not going to act like he's exactly, in need of cash, strapped for cash currently. What do we got next, Kevin?
Next up, Baseball 123. Do we still believe in Andrew Saalfrank when he's back?
Oh man, that's another interesting case, right? What I believe in is giving people second chances. I believe that what Andrew Saalfrank did was dumb, and I think that he has served a fairly egregious punishment for the crime. Like, I don't feel like the punishment fit the crime, but I feel like he was adequately punished, and I feel like there is definitely value in him still being a part of the Diamondbacks organization. At one time he was very good. his numbers, the analytics, didn't really suggest that he was as good of a pitcher as the results were showing at the time. So I would say that I'm still have to see what he can do at a major league level and see if he can replicate some of the success he's had in the past, maybe get better, but again, what I believe in is second chances. And I believe that he has served an egregious penalty for a stupid infraction that he should have known better about. And that's that, man. People are people, and we make mistakes in life and we learn from them, especially athletes that are kind of thrust into the situation and, still as young as some of them are. So I do think, though, that he can still be very valuable to this organization. And again, the depth that they have now, especially with the young guys, is going to be incredibly valuable beyond this year when the Diamondbacks start to have to fill out this roster, and they're going to have a lot of holes after this year. Sean says, I'm not sure how much I believed in him before that, but we need a left on deck if Mantiply or Puck get hurt or overworked. Great point. And again, that's something that he can definitely add to is depth on this roster for sure. Let's get one more in, Kev, before we get to some words from our friends. But what do we got?
One more is going to be from Tech Tony G. Sending love to @PHNX Dbacks and the real mayor. Number one, with Garrett Cole out for the season, if the Yankees call for one of our starting pitchers, who should we demand in return? And then number two, will the Korean pork nachos be returning to Chase Field, or do we got to riot?
We have to riot, Tech Tony G. Thank you for appreciating the Korean pork nachos as much as I do. What was the first part of again, this is another Jordan Montgomery question. I mean,
with
that's
Garrett
the
Cole
thing
out
about
for the
it.
season, but if they call for one of their starting pitchers, Tech Tony wants to know, who do the Diamondbacks demand in return?
And see, that's an interesting, that's an interesting, question. Like, what do the Diamondbacks want in return? When you start to look at the Yankees as an organization, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that Diamondbacks could be interested in, right? I mean, organizations these days don't necessarily want to part with prospects as much as they used to in the past, but I would probably apply for that. I would probably apply the pressure. I mean, I don't necessarily know if the Diamondbacks right now even need more major league players, right? What they need, and one thing Mike Hazen discussed with us this weekend, is that he's focused more on the future at this point. And the reason for that is because the here and now is good and set, and they've done a good job at establishing this roster. Now it's up to Torey and his coaches to make those decisions on who they want, to go with, who they want to keep, who they want to send back down to AAA, right? But in regards to Garrett Cole, the Yankees getting something for Jordan Montgomery, it would be great to just solidify this future with prospects that are close to a major league ready to go for next year. Elise says Spencer Jones is who we should ask for. And then she said we could really use Devin Williams, to be honest. Oh my God. Could you imagine doing that to them? Oh, Elise, I love it. You're a maniac and I love you for it. Let's do it. Let's be ruthless. Well, we will be right back. We got to talk about some of our friends, but on the other side of this break, we'll have a couple of more Mailbag Monday questions. We thank you guys, of course, for being here and for participating. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Carroll Royce and her team want to help you get into a home, whether you are a first-time buyer or a seasoned vet on the home market. They are the best, and the reason why is because the real estate market is competitive, both as a seller and someone trying to purchase a home. But like a great manager in Major League Baseball, the Carroll Royce team will build you a game plan to get you into the perfect home for you. Special shout out to PHNX sports fan Hayden. They bought their first home. He bought his first home with Carroll Royce. So shout out. And I know how good that can feel. I know how much my home means to me, and it's where I put all my toys. So I'm so thankful that I have a home. And of course, Carroll Royce wants you to get into a home. She's so confident about that you'll love your new home, that if you do not, she will buy it back within 18 months. Of course, Carroll Royce team has your back. Buy one of Carroll's homes and she will buy yours for cash. So if you're looking to upgrade, you can check out Carroll Royce. If you're ready to find your dream home, take the next step. Call Carroll Royce or visit Carroll online at carrollroyceteam.com. That's carrollroyceteam.com Terms and conditions do apply. Well, Spinato's Pizzeria is the place to be for Suns fans. I know we got a Suns game going on right now, and they are hosting official watch parties throughout the season where you can watch with the Phoenix Suns dancers and my friend, the Gorilla, my personal friend. Stop by for your chance also to win free Suns tickets, gift certificates, and more. You can play their version of Horse, which is pizza, and to win some prizes, you can win free pizza for a year. You can win Suns tickets for their game on April 9th and so much more. Don't miss the chance to be part of the action. Mark your calendars, Suns fans. The excitement starts at Spinato's. Oh, and by the way, their pizza is incredible. Get all the info for the watch parties and the pizza basketball contest at spinatospizzeria.com. Spinato's, official pizza of the Phoenix Suns. Well, I don't know how they're doing, but it sounds like things are very sad over there. The mood, the vibes, they're very different over here with the Arizona Diamondbacks. But what do we got for our next question here? I got Michael asked me a personal question here.
Well, the Suns are actually up 5 right now.
Oh, okay.
So not all is bad, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, next question. Michael Rokicki. Why did you write "help me" on the window of the car during the drive to Vegas?
I'll tell you, Michael, is because at that point it was, I believe, close to 7 a.m. and I had already been in a car with Jack and Barry for 2 hours. That's how early he picked me up, and that's how long I'd been riding in the car with, you ready for this, Kevin? No music on. No music for nearly 2 hours. Just road noise and conversation to warm the heart and the belly. You know what I mean? 2 hours of that. And so, yeah, I hope that makes you understand why I scribbled "help me" on the window. I should have done it backwards so that the cars driving next to me might have provided me with some aid. I realize now that writing it to myself inside of the car was really unnecessary, but
I would also
have
have loved for someone to really have taken it seriously and like called some sort of authority, and then they pull over the car and they're like, "Sir, why does they say help me?" And you're just like,
and I'm
"Hey, can you make these two guys play music, please? And stop bickering."
Right.
It makes it hard for my edibles to be enjoyed.
Can you tell Jack that we don't need to get to the ballpark at 9:30 a.m. because they're not going to let us in until 10? Can you tell him that? That's why I scribbled "help me" on the window there. But again, I actually, in all honesty, had a great time this weekend, and I had a great time with those two gentlemen. Do me a favor in life. Sometimes go do something like this with people you don't really think that you would, really maybe get along with, or maybe just in general don't have much in common, because we found out we had a tremendous amount of common and learned a lot about each other. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for one Barry Bloom. I'm going to say it's wild, as I was telling Kevin before we did the show, to have a conversation with someone that covered Barry Bonds and Tony Gwynn in his time as a journalist. And I did take Torey's advice. I was patient. I listened, and I did learn a couple of things. Mostly it was about Barry's musical tastes, but nonetheless, it was a really fun trip. Another great conversation I had was with Luis Gonzo. I think you guys might have seen my little selfie that I took with him while me and him were hanging out. Neither one of us had much to do because of how early, once again, we got to the ballpark. But we did have a fun conversation. I told him I took Barry to Fremont Street, and Gonzo proceeded to tell me that after his trip to Fremont Street, he bought, wait for it, one of those giant gorilla costumes that you see the people on Fremont Street have. And then he showed me a video of himself in it. It is 8 feet tall. It has a wingspan of like 14 feet, and it is a nuisance at Halloween parties. I'm absolutely sure of that. But again, personal geek out moment. It'll never not be cool that the fact that Gonzo knows my name. I'm just going to throw that out there. But we got one more question. What else we got in there?
Yeah, and for our last question, if you're watching on our streaming services, make sure to go over to gophnx.com. Because last but certainly not least, we have maybe the best question of them all.
We're a little teaser. Best question in the mailbag. We're probably going to argue about it a lot. So if you're not watching right now already on YouTube or gophnx.com, come join us. Come on over. What do we got, Kevin?
Elizabeth, rank the following cookies. We got sugar.
What in the hell
chocolate
are you
chip.
doing, Elizabeth?
We're going to skip over this BS. Snickerdoodle, M&M, and peanut butter. And the BS I was referencing is oatmeal raisin.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about with this one. Lots to digest.
Oh, my God. This is probably the most serious conversation we've had on this show today, right? Like,
I mean,
nothing else
maybe ever.
Maybe ever.
Maybe
ever.
at least since we did the entree situation.
So chocolate chip cookie is number one. Am I wrong?
1,000%.
Okay, there's no debate.
That's
on
1-1. That's Wemby. That's 1-1.
Right. It's like there's no doubt. You do it effortlessly. Chocolate chip cookies can come in so many different varieties and still be amazing. I think that's the best part of it. And now let's get to Sean's comment where he says oatmeal raisin is the best. Fight me. We're going to fight you, Sean, because we are ranking oatmeal raisin dead last. Oatmeal raisin dead last. Right?
Yeah, no, it has to be. It has to be last. I mean,
we're bookending, right?
The competition.
Oh my God!
What's happening right now in the chat?
What is happening?
What is going on?
Oh man, there is some oatmeal raisin love in the chat.
I didn't know this was an oatmeal raisin cookie podcast. What's happening?
No, this was where we were coming from. The problem with oatmeal raisin is it's always the same. It's always the same. Oatmeal raisin, even a good oatmeal raisin, it might have a little bit more butter to it, might have a little bit more cinnamon. Kevin can't stand the fact that this particular cookie in this equation has raisins in it.
Get raisins away from my sweets.
He would be fine with the oatmeals. I personally have no problem with the raisins. It's just the fact that oatmeal, like raisin, I mean, it's one of those cookies where you take the first bite and you're like, yeah, it's kind of good. And then you're like, oh, never mind. But let's get that question back up there because we need to figure out the in-between here. We got chocolate chip number one. We got oatmeal raisin. So in between, we got sugar, we got snickerdoodle, we got M&M, we got peanut butter. I am going to have a controversial take right now.
Lay it on us.
I don't really like M&M cookies that much.
They're pretty much like...
I don't think M&M cookies... yes, they are like chocolate chip, right? But the problem is that the candy coating on the M&Ms, they are relentless. They do not relent. That's what the word relentless means. They will not be cracked. They will not melt. They will not be changed. They are who they are. They are what they are. They are Berry Bloom. You're getting what they are. You know what they are.
Those M&M cookies are who we thought they
are. Exactly who we thought they were. And crown them. No, don't crown them because I just don't like I don't have a joyful experience biting into an M&M cookie. The only thing that makes it good is it's kind of like a chocolate chip cookie. That's the only part about it. Like typically the base cookie for an M&M cookie is the same as a chocolate chip. So thus it's not terrible, but I still want to rank it just one spot above oatmeal raisin.
All right. So I think I agree with you on the M&M thing. I think I have my list here, Derek.
Okay.
I think
Let's go back to it. Let's pull it up on the screen. This is serious business here.
I think I'm going.
Okay.
Chocolate chip 1.
Snickerdoodle 2?
No, I think I'm going to go peanut butter 2.
Okay.
Snickerdoodle 3.
Okay.
Sugar 4. M&M 5. And then oatmeal raisin. I mean, they get some playing time if we're up 50. I don't know.
What? Okay. I love peanut butter cookies. I love peanut butter cookies, especially when you put like a Reese's peanut butter cup in the middle. That is delightful. Ooh. And if you do it at the right time, it kind of melts in with the cookie, but then it's not completely just a chocolatey peanut butter mess. My problem with peanut butter cookies is majority of the time, I don't understand why the texture, the consistency of it is so weird, so gritty.
Yeah.
Right? You're using smooth peanut butter in there.
I think it has something to do with like the sugar in the dough. I think maybe possibly, I don't know. My girlfriend's a pastry chef, so when she makes them, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
So they're just bomb. They're just really good.
But see, okay, so that's the flaw with peanut butter cookie is you like have to know what you're doing.
High ceiling, low floor.
High ceiling, low floor. Yeah, I'm still gonna enjoy a peanut butter cookie.
For the record, I put sugar cookie as low as I did because it's mid ceiling, mid floor. Like sugar cookies are good. I rarely do I have a great sugar cookie though. You know what I mean?
I'm with Elise here with the sugar cookie, with the cream cheese frosting, and
wait. But are we adding frosting to these cookies, Derek? Because these are just cookies. Rank the following cookies.
Oh, don't start that with me. Don't.
What do you mean?
You mean it because you don't put frosting on any of those cookies except the sugar cookie. We're not just adding frosting to a sugar cookie.
Why does sugar cookie
because it's one of the things that comes on a. Are you kidding me?
In this competition, frosting is steroids, Derek.
This would be like you telling me cake can't have frosting on it. Like that's a part of the cake. Frosting on a sugar cookie is part of the goddamn cookie.
I don't know, Derek. I don't know.
That is crazy.
I don't know.
That is nuts. I can't imagine a plain sugar cookie might be lower than an oatmeal raisin. If you're talking about just a plain sugar cookie, I have no use for that in life. That's dough. That's missing the ingredients. You're serving me vanilla ice cream. I don't want a sugar cookie without a frosting. It's just not
For
a
the
complete
record,
cookie.
I like vanilla ice cream too.
I do too. I don't even want to dunk on vanilla ice cream.
Can
But I
someone
feel
ask
like I
next
have
Monday?
to here to make a point, you know?
Next Monday, can someone ask us about ice
Oh.
cream in some facility?
Yeah,
Please?
we
That'd be
need to
awesome.
rank ice cream next. Okay, so I'm just going to change up your number 1 and your number 2 and your number 3. I'm going to keep everything else the same. I'm going chocolate chip 1, snickerdoodle 2, peanut butter 3, sugar 4, M&M 5, oatmeal raisin dead last.
I thought you were just gonna say dead.
Dead to me. When we talked about this question, I could taste what an oatmeal raisin cookie tastes like in my mouth. Like that's how.
And then I needed water.
Maybe they're consistent. Yeah, I did need
Yeah.
water. Oh man. Well, thank you guys as always for your wonderful questions. More importantly, thank you guys for being Arizona Diamondbacks fans. We will be back here on Wednesday with another episode of the show. And at some point this week, Ryan Thompson is going to stop by to chat mostly with me about the John Cena heel turn. we have meat
Did
on
you
that
see
bone.
they dropped merchandise today?
No, I saw they dropped merchandise today. We got lots of things to talk about. I don't think most of them are actually about baseball, but I do want to talk about some of his comments because I think Ryan Thompson has just been a fascinating open book and, again, a very valuable piece of this bullpen. One thing we were talking about this weekend is just the different looks that the Diamondbacks have a chance to give you out of the pen, different arm angles, different, different just pitching, styles. And it makes the bullpen even more valuable, even deadlier. So looking forward to talking to Ryan, mostly about wrestling, but like I said, a little bit about baseball. Mostly, I'm also excited to talk to you guys. So appreciate you guys stopping by. We will see you on Wednesday. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. Kev is at Kevo Posts. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks. But as always, all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. We will see you on Wednesday. Until then, behave yourselves. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Tuesday. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you get a chance to watch it with Barry Bloom.
We all silly like the mayor.